to...
Turn
Oh
it.
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm Charlie,
I'm Marianne.
and welcome to
Get
Literature. Today, the idea is we're going to give you a summary of Macbeth. So if you're here thinking, I've got no idea what's going on in Macbeth,
Hopefully we will help you dispel that feeling.
take it away.
Shall we chat about this play a little bit?
Yeah.
So the play opens with a really little short scene where we meet the three witches for the first time. And they basically only tell us that we're going to meet them again on a heath in a storm. And that's what we know.
Like nothing, is it?
It's nothing, but it's also what an opening.
Smoke, heath, incredible.
Everything. We're then transported to King Duncan's camp. So he's the current king. There's just been a huge battle because the Norwegians have tried to invade.
Classic Norway.
Yeah, always doing that.
Vikings.
Always doing that. But we learn that Macbeth, title character, has fought very, very bravely. And he's been amazing and he's cut down all the enemies. And as a reward, King Duncan is going to make him Thane of Cawdor. Macbeth is already Thane of Glamis. It's very important. But Duncan says, I'm going to make him Thane of Cawdor as a reward.
Question.
Yeah.
What's a thane?
Ooh, it's like a title.
Like being like the duke,
Like a duke.
or the earl of
The Lord.
Yeah, okay.
Then the play. Action cuts back to our witches, who we meet again. And they are preparing to meet Macbeth. Macbeth and his friend Banquo, bestie at this point. They've been fighting together. They're kind of like brothers. Like they're not brothers, but they're kind of like brothers.
Like blood brothers, in a way.
Yeah, and I think Banquo really sees Macbeth. He really knows him.
Yeah.
He's kind of the audience's occasional kind of moral lens on Macbeth.
Yeah.
And tells us, oh, he's being a bit weird.
Yeah.
And they're going through, and then they suddenly stumble upon these witches.
Bizarre.
A bit bizarre. So understandably, Macbeth says, tell me why you're here, tell me who you are. They then say, all hail Macbeth, Thane of Glamis, which he is.
Which he is.
All hail Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor.
Which he is not yet. To his knowledge.
To his knowledge. He thinks, I'm not Thane of Cawdor, there's already a Thane of Cawdor. Then they say, all hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
That's the zinger, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not king yet.
Well, no, that would be Duncan.
Exactly, because of King Duncan. So Macbeth is really confused because he knows that he's Thane of Glamis, but he's definitely not Thane of Cawdor or king. The witches also say that Banquo's sons will be king. If Macbeth's going to be king, how on earth would Banquo's sons then be kings? Because they're not actually brothers.
No. Good to point out. Unless you've got to presume that at some point in the future, in this prophecy, then that Banquo's sons or descendants are overthrowing Macbeth's line,
Absolutely.
right? In this prophecy vision.
Yeah, totally. The usurpers. The witches then vanish, and Banquo and Macbeth are left extremely confused. Then Ross enters. Ross, he's one of those guys, he just comes and tells us stuff.
Yeah,
We
kinda
love Ross.
him. Of another thing.
Another thing, yes. And he says, oh my gosh, King Duncan has decided to make you, Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor, for your bravery, for your success in battle. So straight away, the prophecy comes true.
Okay, so we've got confirmation.
We've got confirmation.
Yeah.
Big time.
The witches aren't just like mad women out on the moor who kind of chat rubbish. They're like,
Yeah.
what they say comes true.
Absolutely. This is completely confirmed immediately. So Macbeth, I mean, he's quite overwhelmed in this moment, and Banquo kind of observes him and observes his reaction, and he says, you know, Macbeth is so rapt. He says, my friend is rapt with this news. And we kind of get the sense Banquo's a bit worried about that.
Yeah.
Why is he so happy about this?
Yeah.
And it's just all very overwhelming, and I think that's the first time that maybe Banquo spreads a little seed of doubt for the audience about, can Macbeth handle this? Is he really ambitious? What's going on with him? And Banquo knows Macbeth and tells us he's being a build. This is a bit different. We then jump again to a different place. We're back in, well, we're now in King Duncan's palace, and he's kind of discussing the new order of things. He's locking in Macbeth as Thane of Cawdor, and he, very importantly, confirms his son Malcolm as heir to the throne. And because of the order of things, that means Macbeth is third in line to the throne after Malcolm and the king's other son, Donalbain.
Bless him.
And then King Duncan says, right, I know what we should do to celebrate Macbeth's new title. We're going to go to Scotland and we're going to go to Macbeth's castle to go and stay with him and his wife.
A little squad trip, if you will.
Absolutely.
You know, just like
team
building.
holiday.
Yeah, a team holiday.
Well, if you had a castle in Scotland, I would be saying...
Yeah, and if I just won the war against Norway...
What else do you do?
To celebrate with my buddies at my buddy's nice castle.
Yeah, totally.
It's the obvious next step.
And at the end of this scene, we start to see Macbeth kind of crack under the pressure a little bit of this newfound like proximity to the throne. And he famously asks the stars to hold their fires. So he's kind of saying, don't expose me, like don't look at me. Because he's trying to conceal his intentions a little bit.
Yeah, and like, oh, like, do I want to become the king?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's starting to manifest now. So we then jump to Lady Macbeth in her castle. We love Lady Macbeth, icon. And she's received a letter from Macbeth explaining the witch's prophecy and all the drama that's gone down. So the fact that part of it came true and he's now Thane of Cawdor, and that the rest of the prophecy declares he will become king. So she reads this letter and she's kind of excited, but she knows her husband really well. And she kind of says, well, although, yes, Macbeth wants to be king, I'm not sure he's got the drive for it. I'm not sure he's got the capacity for evil that may be required. So she kind of says, I don't know if he can do what needs to be done. She asks the spirits to make her strong enough to help him do whatever it takes. And she says, fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty.
Yeah. Do you think at this point she knows that whatever it takes means murdering Duncan? Do you think she's...
That's a great question. I think probably.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's such a... She has to make that decision so quickly from reading the letter, first hearing about the news, and then like 20 seconds later, she's like, "Come, spirits!"
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, but
it is. I guess, you know, to get that there is one thing between Macbeth and the crown, and that is Duncan and his kids.
Yeah. So
it's pretty clear the path. But you're right, she's very quick to just take that on. Everyone then arrives at the castle. The gang's here. And Lady Macbeth like greets everyone and it's really sweet. No one knows what's going to happen. And then Macbeth basically, Act 1, Scene 7 at this point, he has a soliloquy where he acknowledges his intention to kill Duncan. He just hopes if he's going to do it that he can do it quickly. It does show his conflict here and his feelings about it, like he wishes he didn't have to. And Lady Macbeth really encourages this and she kind of questions his masculinity if he doesn't do it. And that's the end of Act 1.
Wow, thank you.
Drama.
Absolute
drama. Favourite moments in Act 1?
I think gotta be the witches.
Oh my god, yeah.
What a start to the show. Love also their first prophecy. Love it, that moment when Macbeth and Duncan are like, are you women? And they're like, because women don't normally have beards. And it's like, that implies that the witches like have beards. Like,
I also love that image of Lady Macbeth getting this letter and just like reflecting and plotting by herself.
Yeah.
Act 2. It opens with Macbeth and Banquo. They're discussing honour. What honour is. How you have it, how you lose it. Just bros having chats.
Just a little DMC.
On the important things. Macbeth then has this soliloquy where he thinks he can see a dagger before him. He doesn't know if it's real. He doesn't know why he can see it, but he can't touch it. He doesn't know if his mind's deceiving him. He doesn't really know what's going on, but he thinks he can see a dagger before him. And this is right before he's on his way to go and kill Duncan. And he asks the ground to conceal his footsteps as he goes. So he's really trying to keep this on the down low.
Question, is the dagger real?
I kind of wish, I hope so. I hope it is.
Okay.
Because it's real to him.
It's real to him. I mean, I quite like to see it as like, I love it when Shakespeare gets really psychological, because it feels like kind of early to be dealing with such like psychological issues, and the idea of like dreams and like hallucination is also quite cool if he's hallucinating it. But that being said, there are so many things in this play that wouldn't otherwise be real, witches, ghosts, apparitions, but are real in the Macbeth universe.
Totally.
Which makes me want to think the dagger might also be real.
I completely agree. I think that if you can have witches, you can have
floating daggers.
Floating visionary dagger.
Yeah, sure.
And I kind of love that for Macbeth. Like, if it is real, that's kind of more interesting. What is it? Is it like a warning, or is it like guiding him, saying grasp it?
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. Then he kills Duncan. We don't see this from the audience. Like, there's no scene where he kills him, but we know he kills him because he comes out and he also brings the daggers he's used with him. Very silly.
Stupid.
So Lady Macbeth sees this and she says, why on earth have you brought the daggers with you? You should have left them there. But he says he's too overwhelmed, he can't go back, he just can't face it. So she says, right, I'll do it. So she goes and takes the daggers. And Macbeth then tells the audience that he can't say amen anymore. He was listening to the men and he wanted to say amen and he couldn't. So Lady Macbeth tries to calm him down. He's very panicky at this moment, but she says, don't worry, we're going to frame the guards as the murderers. She says, don't worry, I've put blood on their face so they look more guilty, because that makes sense. And everyone will just assume that Duncan's sons have killed him so they can get the throne.
Oh, I see. So makes sense. So the story they're trying to create is like Duncan's sons paid these guards to murder Duncan so they could get the throne.
Exactly. And that's what everyone will think as long as we just act cool. So in the meantime, a new character arrives at the castle, Macduff.
Okay,
so Macduff, he's kind of important later as well, but basically he's come because he wants to speak to Duncan. And there's also another character called Lennox.
Yes.
He's kind of like a Ross type of character.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Are Macduff and Lennox Thanes as well?
No, that is a very good question.
I don't know why I'm obsessed with Thanes today.
So Lennox is a Thane. Macduff is Thane of Fife.
Well, there we are.
So yes, also a Thane, loads of Thanes. Lovely. So Macduff wants to speak to Duncan. Lennox comes out and he's like, oh my god, I've had a terrible night. It's been the worst night ever. And I think something weird's going on.
Okay.
So, he's very in touch with what's going on. It's very sensitive.
Okay, he's just been like, what, like...
Oh, I've just had a terrible night.
It's okay. Yeah. Nice bit of foreboding from Shakespeare there.
Absolutely. Macduff then realises that Duncan's been murdered and he calls treason and he raises the alarm. Lady Macbeth and Macbeth obviously act like they're completely innocent, and Macbeth, oh my gosh, he goes on about Duncan. He says, oh my god, he was the best king ever, he was so amazing. Nice. I will revenge him, I'll find who did this.
So at this point, Macbeth seems to have like really gathered himself.
I think he has. Lady Macbeth really like contained him, built him back up, and they really do put on a brave face here. And then Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's sons, realise, oh my god, we're gonna need to leave because
they're in danger.
We're in danger. We look so guilty.
Get out.
And outside, Ross, who we like, Ross, he has this speech where he describes Duncan's horses, and he says, oh, they're usually really obedient, but they've broken out of their stables and eaten each other. in terms of foreboding and, you know, the
Yeah.
vibes.
The vibes are off. Like,
Vibes
things
are
are
so
getting weird in Scotland.
It's getting so
Yeah.
weird. And then Macduff comes out and tells them, oh my gosh, Duncan's dead, and Macbeth has now killed the guards that must have killed Duncan to revenge.
Oh,
To
yeah.
avenge
Macbeth. Revenge was it.
And then Macduff, also informs the audience that the king's sons have fled and says this makes them so suspicious.
Which it does, to be fair, but
Yeah.
what, like, you know, there's no win for Malcolm and Donovan at that point.
They've got
If
to
you
go.
stay, you get killed. If you leave, you look like you were the murderer.
Yeah, at least you're not dead. So that's something.
So true, man. So
At least
true.
you've got a chance to get your reputation back if you do that. And the act ends with us finding out Macbeth is probably going to become the new king.
Okay, it's
And
happening
that
for
too.
him.
He's done it.
Was it fate or was it his own actions?
Or was it knowing about his fate impacted his own actions? Or can you even separate those things? Favourite bit in Act 2?
I love the bit where Macbeth comes out from murdering Duncan and he's like manic and Lady Macbeth is like, grow up. Like,
Yeah.
come on. You know, I think she's great in that bit.
Yeah.
And he's really confused and he's like, what's going on? What?
Yeah.
He keeps hearing noises. It's so good.
He does,
Yeah.
He does keep hearing noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the fact that she's like, why have you brought the daggers, you idiot?
Yeah.
Great moment. And I really think that learning about Duncan's horses, who intuitively seem to know that Duncan's been killed, amazing. Okay, Act 3, big act as well. Lots happens.
Chunky.
Okay, chunky act. So, Banquo enters. Another one starting with Banquo. Never realised that before. Real theme here. Banquo enters. He says the witch's prophecy has come true. But he's a little bit suspicious about how Macbeth has become king. So again, seeds of suspicion from Banquo kind of telling the audience, don't trust Macbeth, don't trust him. The two of them, the bros, Macbeth and Banquo, they meet for dinner, but we can really sense that the atmosphere between them has shifted. It's kind of formal. It's kind of like all that familiarity and like love and friendship. It's gone a bit funny.
It's the worst when that happens with a friend. When one of your bros, isn't it? Oh, and it's just not the same.
It's how you know it's not, oh god,
Oh,
we've
it's
grown
how you
apart.
know your friend's murdered the king. Or we just grown apart. It's not the same.
It's just not the same anymore, and that is like very, very palpable. Banquo goes. Macbeth then tells the audience he thinks he's going to need to kill Banquo. And he tries to justify it by saying, well, I've already killed Duncan, I've already done all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think I need to kill him too, because if I go through all of this just to be usurped by Banquo's children, was it really worth it?
Well, exactly. But now he's trying to fight the prophecy, isn't he?
Yes.
He's trying to like undo the prophecy. He thinks he can change it, really.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's prophecy.
And it's already starting to come true. So it's interesting, he thinks, okay, I'll take the bit that helps me, but I'll change the rest. Not really how prophecies work.
Seems like he's got a bit of a pride issue going.
So he organises some murderers to come and kill Banquo, and he kind of says to them, oh, Banquo's, you know, he's so evil, like this is the honourable thing to do. And he tries to convince them. It's quite interesting verbally how he does that. But yeah, so he sends these murderers off to go and kill Banquo and Fleance, Banquo's son.
Bless him.
Meanwhile, the guilt is beginning to eat away at Macbeth. He says to Lady Macbeth something about scorpions in his mind. So he's really not
That
feeling...
would be horrible. Uncomfortable.
That would be horrible, yeah. He's really not feeling great. But he's become the king. So him and Lady Macbeth, they hold this huge feast in the banqueting hall, this big celebration. They invite all the lords and the thanes and the people. And right before it starts, the murderers come back and they say to Macbeth, we've killed Banquo. We've done it. Did it in the woods. But Fleance got away. Fleance escaped. So Banquo's son has not been killed.
And it's a shame, isn't it, that Banquo gets killed that early, because he's a really nice character. it's a bit Game of Thrones, I think.
Yes.
You know, just killing off the fake
He's
characters.
Ned Stark.
He absolutely is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was likeable.
And they just kill him off. Okay, so prophecy not beaten because Fleance is still alive.
Absolutely. And Macbeth is a bit stressed about this.
Yeah, well, you would be.
He is. But he's got to go straight into this banquet moment and go and be king. However, it doesn't go to plan when he gets in there, because he walks in and he sees a figure sitting in his chair. And he's like, who is that? And the figure looks up and it is Banquo's ghost.
Freaky.
Very freaky. And he starts shouting at it and saying, like, why are you here? Like, you're dead. And he's really confused and overwhelmed, as he would be.
Yeah.
Lady Macbeth does not have a lot of tolerance for this. She's like, be quiet, the lords are here, like, stop it. And she tries to kind of cover for him with the lords, and she says, don't worry, he does this, like, he's done this since he was a child, it's fine. He kind of accidentally overshares in this moment, I think, when he gets overwhelmed, and he kind of tells the lords, I've done all these bad things, I'm a terrible person. And Lady Macbeth's really not happy with this.
Also, like, very weird if you're just like a thane at this feast and the king is just like screaming in an empty chair.
Yeah.
And like confessing to like sin.
Literally.
Odd behaviour.
Very odd, not very reassuring.
No, I would not feel reassured if my king was screaming at chairs.
No, absolutely. He then kind of snaps out of it for a second and he kind of tries to like charm everyone and like, you know, get them back on side, and even raises a toast to Banquo.
The cheek!
I know, outrageous.
Yeah.
But then the ghost comes again. But Macbeth's a little bit more together this time. He tells it to go away. And then after everybody leaves a bit later, Macbeth is really freaked out by this whole interaction.
Yeah.
And he expresses this fear that blood will always lead to more blood. And maybe he's so far into the blood now that to turn around, he's already got through so much, that if he turned around and went back, that would be just as much blood as if he carried on going forward. It's just really visceral blood imagery here. And he basically says, this is too much, I need to go and speak to the witches, I need to get some help. Yeah.
Overall, vibes in Scotland, so off right now.
So off.
So off.
So off when you like, the horses are eating each other.
The king shouting. The new king, after the suspicious death of the old king, the new king is shouting at a chair.
It's chaos.
Chaotic vibes.
Absolutely too much. Meanwhile, final little scene of Act 3, we learn that Malcolm, King Duncan's son, the heir to the throne originally, has gone to the English court for protection. So he's gone to the English king to try and like hide away from all this drama and come up with a plan. And Macduff has gone to England to try and retrieve him and try and basically get himself, Macduff, Malcolm and the king, King Edward, to band together to try and overthrow Macbeth.
Whoa, bit of a turnaround from Macduff there.
Total turnaround. This is the first time we see the subjects and like the other people try and almost turn on Macbeth, and it's the first time we see suspicion from them.
Yeah, there's a rebellion brewing.
Favourite moments in Act 3?
Oh gosh, okay. I love the murderers.
I was going to say the same.
They're wild.
Yeah, they are.
They are. And also, actually, in such interesting side characters from Shakespeare, because there's a little bit where it's like, they're like, why are you murdering? Like, how do you end up, you know?
Yeah.
And they're all just like, yeah, I was just really poor and like, I was just really sad with the world, and it makes you think, oh,
Wow.
you know, why do people murder?
Yeah.
Exactly.
They didn't choose that.
You know, yeah, and it's a nice sort of like, because so much of Macbeth is to do with the nobility, the thanes, the people with the power, the people with the money. It's an interesting insight into another world there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I love the murderers. And I think the scene where Macbeth tries to convince them that Banquo's evil and they should do it, and the way they kind of engage with that is a really fun scene. It's a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, they're not stupid.
They're not stupid, no.